Exodus 32:33. And the Lord said unto Moses, whosoever hath sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book. So first, you got to be in the book to get blotted out of the book. Here, Jesus is saying, the Lord is saying to Moses, whoever sins against him is the one that he's going to blot out of the book. And so at what point did you have your name written in the book? Remember, it doesn't start off that way when you put in your faith. And so what is Jesus saying here? Whosoever has sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book. Another instance of a principle being established in the Old Testament. The principle being that those that sin willfully against the Lord after being first delivered will have their names blotted out of the book of life.
All right, so Young Don focuses here where it says, and the Lord said unto Moses, whoever had sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book. So first of all, what is God saying to Moses, and why does he even say this to Moses? Well, number one, we have to understand why we're even talking about blotting people out of any book. Well, in Exodus 32, earlier in the chapter, we would see that the people and the children of Israel make themselves a golden calf. And when God sees that they have made this golden calf, he actually makes a proposal to Moses about what to do with these people. So in verse 7 it says, and the Lord said unto Moses, go, get thee down, for thy people which thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt have corrupted themselves. They have turned aside quickly out of the way which I commanded them. They have made them a molten calf, and have worshipped it, and have sacrificed thereunto, and said, these be thy gods, O Israel, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt. And the Lord said unto Moses, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. Now therefore let me alone, that my wrath may wax hot against them, and that I may consume them, and I will make of thee a great nation. And so God is telling Moses that he's seeing the golden calf that they made. And he's saying, hey, let me just completely wipe out these people, completely kill these people, and make a new people out of you, Moses. And so after this proposal of the Lord, later on in the chapter, Moses comes to God, and he gives him a new proposal. He says, and Moses returned unto the Lord and said, oh, this people have sinned a great sin, and have made them gods of gold. Yet now, if thou wilt forgive their sin, and then, kind of like a ... just leaves it hanging. It says, and if not, blot me, I pray thee, out of thy book which thou hast written. And the Lord said unto Moses, whosoever hath sinned against me, him will I blot out of my book. So the original proposal that God gave to Moses was to completely wipe out, to kill the nation of Israel, and make a new people out of Moses. And what Moses is saying is, hey, instead of killing those people, kill me. Kill me for the people. But God says, no, he that sinned against me, him will I blot out. And so we see that God is saying that those that sin, those that worship the calf, those are the ones that are going to get killed. And if we just keep reading, we see that that's what happens. It says, therefore now go, lead the people into the place of which I spoken unto thee. Behold, mine angel shall go before thee. Nevertheless, in the day when I will visit their sin upon them. And the Lord plagued the people because they made the calf which Aaron made. And so what God is saying when he says, I will blot them out of my book, is he's saying that he's going to kill them. And something that we have to understand is that there's not just one book. See, many people will take a passage like this and will say, well, there's only one book, and that's the book of life. But according to the Bible, we actually see two books mentioned in the Bible. We see the book of the living, and then we see the Lamb's book of life. And so there's actually two distinct books that we see. The book of the living contains a registry of every single person that is alive today, that is currently living. That is the book of the living. Well, the Lamb's book of life contains the name of every single person that is saved, that has put their faith in Jesus Christ. So earlier we saw that Young Don gave a verse to show that not everyone has been written in the book of life. And I agree with that. Not everyone has been written in the Lamb's book of life. However, everyone that is alive is currently written in the book of the living. So in Psalm 69, we see this book of the living. It says, let them be blotted out of the book of the living and not be written with the righteous. So here we see that the psalmist is expressly begging God that he would kill his enemies, that they would be blotted out of the book of the living, that they would get killed. In Psalm 139, we see David talking about how every single part about him was written in God's book. It says, I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. My substance was not hid from thee when I was made in secret, and curiously wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect, or being yet not complete. So before he was even born. And in thy book all my members were written, which in continuance were fashioned, when as yet there was none of them. We see David here saying that before any of his body parts were even made, his members were already written in God's book. Now, we believe that life begins at conception. So obviously, at conception, none of a baby's body parts are there. Yet that baby's members, body parts, are already written in God's book. Is this talking about the book of life? I don't believe so. I believe this is talking about that they're written in the book of the living. So the book of the living has the name of everyone that is currently alive and also has a detailed description about them. So going back to Exodus 32:33, God is not threatening of blotting you out of the book of life, because in Revelation 3:5, he already promised that he would not blot out your name. What he is saying, though, what he was saying to Moses, though, is that the children of Israel that had forsaken him, those that had worshipped the calf, would die, would be blotted out of the book of the living, and would die and face that punishment.